June 28th, 1942. Let's start with the good news. This week, the arrival of over 200,000 men in the shape of 5 rifle corps between the Western and the Bryansk fronts stopped the German offensive towards Tula and Kaluga dead in its tracks. And now the slightly less good news. Most likely willing to clear their path towards the Caucasus, this week the Germans surrounded the southern front. But they failed to properly seal the encirclement, and so by the end of the week, the Cossacks of the 21st Mountain Cavalry Division have breached the enemy lines and have victoriously rejoined what remains of the southern front. Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new weekly episode of War in the East 2, the online game challenge. And this is the turn in which historically Germany launched Case Blue. And in this alternate scenario, it feels like the Germans have already launched Case Blue a couple of turns ago. But before diving into the most interesting aspects of this turn, let's have a look at the events. We have the rough raids in 1942, excess garrison in Italy, and Soviet partisans. If we look at the turn summary, I've lost 85,000 men, but I received 180,000 on the map, of which 45,000 coming from the theater boxes, and the Axis gained almost 40,000 men on the map. And besides that, we have a look at the losses, I would say 27,500, more or less, and versus 73,000, of which in total of 1.2 versus 6.2 million. Oh, these losses are whoa, really, whoa. And air losses this week, okay, the Axis had a minor losses, only 83 versus 185, so it's interesting actually. 102 planes more lost than the Axis, 163 pilots versus 52, and it's interesting to see that they were mostly fighters, BF-19 F4s, the ones being lost. And if you have a look now at the metrics, and the total order of battle on the map, okay, there was a big drop, but now it's again going up. And the manpower pool is, oh, okay, mine is going down. Let's see the last 10. So 50,000 less. Okay, that's not really good. But anyway, besides this slight decline in the manpower pool, there are some interesting events that occurred this turn during the Axis phase. First of all, the Axis continued their relentless push against, I would say, Tula. What is kind of concerning is the fact that the 62nd Rifle Corps suffered quite a bit of losses and was forced to retreat. The 1st Guards and the 373rd, they held their ground, inflicting way more losses on the attackers compared to the defenders. And they initially here, actually they both held. The 44th Rifle Corps held its line. That's very good to see. And okay, perfect. Then also here, the 83rd held its ground together with the 3rd Guards Motorized Rifle Division. Here my 2 tank corps were forced to retreat, and it's kind of a learning curve for me, because then I really don't think I should employ the tank corps on the main front line, because despite having tons of vehicles, of AFVs, they look too weak in terms of infantry, because they have like 10,000 men less compared to the 2 enemy infantry divisions here. The 74th Rifle Corps held, and the 14th Tank Corps failed to hold its ground. What was interesting was to see, however, that the 80th Rifle Corps, together with the 280th Rifle Division, they defended this X. And the fact that my opponent only attacked me once here suggests that this massive defensive position might have deterred him from launching further attacks, which is kind of very promising, and I'm really happy to see this here. In the north, the Leningrad front is being, let's say, reinforced with some elements, and this week I will do my best to reshuffle the Leningrad front and to concentrate the Volkhov front. Ideally, maybe south of Malaya, Vishera, or south of this Kirishi and Budogosh line here. Now, the biggest problem are coming from the south, because on one hand, yes, of course, holding the Don line was again a big mistake. I don't know when I will ever learn this, or if I will ever learn that when the Germans are on the offensive, that there is nothing you can do. Just give up ground and just let them conquer some empty spaces, because basically. And but when I was controlling and checking the units, I noticed that the 21st Mountain Cavalry Division actually has enough movement points to break out of the encirclement, and this was an amazing finding, because at least this division here is free. Like, exactly, it will not be encircled anymore. And I will try to launch counterattacks with these 3 rifle divisions, the 218th, the 74th, and the 236. Yeah, and I will try to hopefully, if they are successful, I will try to evacuate as many troops of the southern front as possible, because the front line here is collapsing. And also, I don't know what the intentions of my opponent are. If he wants to go for Stalingrad, or if he wants to go for Krasnodar, Maikop, and the Caucasus. If he takes Stalingrad or Astrakhan, and these cities here, he has basically won the game. And therefore I need to prevent him from taking these cities at least until the end of October, and which is like a big dilemma for me now, because I have no idea where to send the reinforcements that I have in the reserve theater box. Shall I send them to Stalingrad, or shall I send them directly in Krasnodar? Like, do I have to risk or not? So yeah, I will improvise this week. I think that exactly now the arrival hex is set in Stalingrad, but yes, I will improvise this week, and let's see. And so yeah, the goal of this week is to reorganize a bit the Leningrad front, the Volkhov front, and yeah, play around with the troops here in the region between Stalingrad and Krasnodar. And so, without further ado, folks, I think the time has come to dive straight into the episode. Alright, folks, so it's a very good news to see that the arrival of the Rifle Corps has finally stopped the German offensive against the Bryansk Front. As I said, I think many times in the past now, I never played as the Soviets. I never played, I never played as the Soviets until June 1942. I never played the Stalingrad to Berlin scenario. I only played as the Vistula to Berlin campaign scenario once. And I never fully played even my own 1942 scenario. So I really could not judge up until now the power of the Rifle Corps. Many of you guys were telling me, I would say, in the months, or even I would say last year in 1941, oh, you know, Matteo, you should wait until you get the Rifle Corps, because then they become so overpowered. And actually, I think I found why they are so overpowered. But anyway, maybe, so I don't know what would have happened had I not sent such Rifle Corps to the Bryansk Front. Who knows, maybe the Germans would have already surrounded by now the Sukinichi salient and I would say the bulk of the Western Front, or they could have already been marching against Tula. At the same time, I could have maybe delayed their offensive along the Southern Front. So, yeah. It's just a lot of speculation, but I did my. I choose the. Sorry, I took the decision. Okay, yes, I took the decision to reinforce the Bryansk front, and now the Southern Front is paying the price. But at least I'm glad to see that the Cossacks of the 21st Cavalry Division managed to break free from the encirclement. And well, now I guess I have to pull back with whatever I have left of the Southern Front, as my gut feeling tells me that my opponent might redirect the bulk of its mobile forces towards the southern, against, I would say, against the Southern Front, towards Stalingrad and towards the Caucasus. I don't know. Maybe it's a bit too late for him to go against Moscow, but you never know. Those 60 victory points, actually 66 victory points, are quite juicy for him, and as well as the 16 victory points at Tula are quite juicy. Yet they're not sufficient to win the campaign via the early end. He needs to take some other victory points. So maybe he's just luring me into a trap, forcing me to believe that he will attack against Stalingrad and then move against Moscow, or vice versa. He wants me to push the reserves towards Moscow, and then he will strike at me against Stalingrad. I don't know. Time will tell, and as always, it's up to me to respond to his counterattacks the best I can. And well, because of the heat, I cannot really talk properly, folks. I think I can end it here. As always, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you all again, as always, in the next episode.